Adam, you said in the past you wanted USC to, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, you wanted USC to go independent, right? Because the Pac-12, we've already, everyone's established this. The Pac-12, just as it was not survivable, was not viable to stay in big boy football. It just couldn't happen. USC couldn't save it. It was going down. So we put that away. I don't think that USC can compete on the highest level like a Notre Dame, actually, believe it or not, as an independent. I don't know. We'll never know. But you got to remember, Notre Dame's been doing this forever, and so it's part of their DNA. But they're still not making as much money as they could, I believe, if they were to join the Big Ten. Those two things aside, so if you put those aside, USC was going to need to join the SEC or the Big Ten with the connections that USC has for decades and decades, going all the way back to when did they start the Rose Bowl thing? Was that the 40s or 50s? I can't remember when they tied it down to Pac-12.
Right.
Yeah, 45, 46. Yeah.
Okay, so that naturally played into USC joining the Big Ten, joining something in a footprint that they're familiar with. I think for fans, if you're going to get the mayday of giving up on the Pac-12, because let's face it, it was not going to be saved. And I'd love to call me up, someone tell me if you got the plan how USC was going to save the Pac-12. The Pac-12 really did itself its own unfavors by really not supporting USC, the equal revenue sharing, all of it was just a mess. And that's what led to what became the Pac-12, and it's gone. I don't think that Jen Cohen has done anything. She came into this job. Remember, she's not the one who decided that USC was going to the Big Ten. That wasn't an AD's decision anyway. That is your president's decision to make, right? That's number one. Number two, there's been I don't know the scheduling. That's clearly there's a back and forth. There's a pattern. If you look at our season, we're home, we're away, we're home, we're away, we're home, we're away. That's the way the pattern goes. I think that the presidents all had some weigh in on that as well. I'm gonna attack. I think all the hires she's made. Clearly, whatever you want to say about Carol Folt and Jen Cohen, there is a clear, and then the one thing I remember when Lincoln Riley was hired, that they said that there was just this alignment from top to bottom within the football program that attracted him to come to USC. He saw this alignment that was there in place. And Bone said that word, like, I think 25 times himself during, felt like that press conference. You have to realize that they've done great things. President Folt, how can we blame her for anything? We are getting, look at our coaching staff. People got freaked out because last year we took a step back. That's a fact, right? We know that. But that's because of the roster. It's because of coaching. There were some things. Those things have been corrected. There is leadership in place. It's not this listless kind of wandering and meandering, trying to figure stuff out until it falls on our lap. There seems to be some method to everything they're building. So as a USC fan for years and years and years, I really see that alignment. I see that they are serious. I see they're open to the purse strings. They're building new facilities. I'm not concerned about the leadership. What I am concerned about is the state of college football and that billionaires can buy players. That's the one thing that worries me about USC situation. If this was before the NIL where you could have these blank checks, USC has so many reasons now. The couple of these are holding us back. Remember a couple of years ago what they negative recruit against us? Oh, you don't want to play the Pac-12. Nobody will see your games. Well, now we're at Fox, and we're gonna be the Big Ten. Everyone's gonna see our games, right? They used to call on us and say the fact that, we go down the line, but the big thing that you talk about is there's a lot of things that used to be issues at USC. The going to the Big Ten has now fixed about revenue situation. So now facilities will be at the top of that situation like it used to be before. USC.
Can I say one more thing?
USC has everything to gain. Hold on, in what they're doing right now, because I like the fact of what Carol Folt and what Jen Cohen are doing. I'm very happy with the hires. I'm very happy with the coaching. I'm very happy with the direction Lincoln Riley's taking the program. Go ahead.
Well, I'll be quick because I don't want to take up too much time, but I respectfully disagree with you. If I was the AD, I would get us out of the Big Ten. I would give Riley 3 years, which he deserves because he's made good defensive hires and he deserves time to transition to the Big Ten. And since people are buying players, I'd make sure we can be competitive with the Texases and the Texas A&Ms. But I will tell you this. Maybe you're right that Jen Cohen is not the issue. But if that's true, Carol Folt is the problem. She single-handedly stopped us from hiring Urban Meyer, which gave us 2 more years of Clay Helton and mediocrity since she has been the president. I don't like her. I don't think she's good for USC athletics. And I'm not afraid to say that because I'm tired of USC being mediocre since 2012. And the choices they made to go into the Big Ten is going to harm us with these kids every other week traveling across the country and having these ridiculously difficult home games. It's not fair given that other teams have such weaker schedules. So I would change the scheduling. I'd give Riley time, and I would be really recruiting hard in NIL. And I would say Carol Fultz is not the answer as the president of USC.
Adam,
but that's just my view. Thanks so much for listening to me.
Adam, hang on a second. Don't go anywhere. So what I hear you're saying is that you want USC to join the ACC or the Big 12 because it seems like you don't want to play competition. And if you're in the Big 10 and you're in the SEC, you're going to play competition. But don't you, when you think of USC football, you don't think of USC up with those teams? You think that we're like a step down from them?
Tim, I think we're right up with those teams. But here's the thing. I'm all for competition. What I'm not for is unfair competition. When we have these crazy difficult schedules and Ohio State has 8 home games and plays cupcakes and the SEC teams open up with teams like Western Kentucky and Tennessee Tech. Competition is good, but it's got to be equal across the board, and it isn't. So yes, I would rather join the ACC and the Big 12 so that we have a reasonable, so that the competition is reasonable and so we are not at a competitive disadvantage.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly say that Adam is super soft. When it comes to us not joining the Big Ten or staying with the Big Ten, if he thinks USC's been behind the curve for the last 10 years, it would tremendously get worse over the next few years as these other schools are starting to get more money. It's going to cost more exposure. There are going to be more teams in the playoffs. It's going to lead to more NIL money, better programs, better coaches, better players. The imbalance between the Big Ten and the SEC is going to tremendously widen from those other conferences. So when it comes to joining the ACC or the Big 12, just wait 3 years and see how bad that looks. But then additionally, when it comes to us getting blown out by LSU, again, Lincoln's always had a top 10 offense. If we even get to mediocre on defense, we're going to give them a game. Additionally, they haven't gotten anybody on defense themselves. So when it comes to us kind of getting blown out on the line, I'd be more worried about them stopping us as well. There's no way they're going to, drop 40 on us, and they're going to be not worried about us dropping 40 on them. And then the only thing I do agree with Adam was basically the Notre Dame game. They should be joining our conference. We shouldn't be rewarding them with them kind of getting that freebie game in LA every 2 years, giving them exposure, giving them leverage with NBC. But aside from that, no way we should leave the Big Ten. It's going to be huge for us. And that's all I got to say. But
no, Zach, great call. Absolutely great call. Hey, listen though, let's keep it civil. But yeah, you make some good points. I do think that caller, hang on one second. I think that people, like I said, let's just see how this LSU game goes. Right? Vegas has it a 7-point game. Mark Rogers, a person I have a lot of respect for. He's been, if you guys, by the way, so if you're on the main channel and if you're on the Patreon, he gives you his predictions. And if you'd been on his predictions, I don't have the exact numbers, Mark, but you'd be very, very happy right now over the past couple of years since I've been following Mark. He cleans up and during the season. So when he told me, now he does pick, he does have at this point LSU win the game, but clearly the score he posed was less than 7. So he has USC covering in that game.